more and more inquiries are coming into the college because doctors are saying, we've done all the tests, we've run all the bloods, we've done all the scans, and we cannot find any reason why, like any, medical reason why you're in the state you're in, what's causing this. And so they're saying to clients, to patients, it's psychosomatic. But because there aren't people out there, except mostly us, that have been using the term psychosomatic for over 30 years, they don't know where to go to get help because they're being told it's psychosomatic. We can't find the cause, and that's because the cause is mental, emotional, and physical. People are wanting answers, and they're reaching out to us to get some more insight, and it's not just stating a whole lot of facts, it's also bringing in that real human emotional connection, empathy. When we're looking at the whole body, we're looking at the left and right. So the left side being the whole feminine, the yin, the right brain, and the opposite, left brain being the right side of the body, the yang. So the right masculine, the left feminine. This can also translate into the outer world, how we're presenting ourselves to the outer world, or doing our action side, and also what's going on internal. So when we take a photograph straight on, when we're looking at the overall face, we can see the mental zone, which is from the hairline to the eyebrows. We can see the emotional zone from the eyebrows to just under the nose, and the physical zone from under the nose to the tip of the chin. Again, looking at that, the two splits that we've got, which is that dichotomy that goes on with every step that we take through life. And it is really fascinating because it captures the moment of where someone's at. So we read a face where someone's at right now with that photograph. And we can see if for example, if the face is tilted habitually, they might just, it might just be a little bit. So they're not looking at the world level. It can be slightly turned. So then when we do a face split, the left side, if I'm turned, the right side's really big and the left side's held back. So this tells us how we're actually facing the world, and what is our unconscious preference in our body language as well. And this goes right through the body when we're doing the entire body reading. So it's part of our body mapping to see how comfortable we are individually, and how the person we're reading is, how comfortable they are with how they're expressing what qualities they have to the world, and how much could be held back and restricted. And this could be to do with events that have happened earlier in their life, and conditioning, and cultural conditioning, all sorts of things. So traumas, as we know. And it can be quite confronting for someone to see an aspect of themselves pictorially in a photograph that they can really relate to strongly, but may not have realized that's why they sometimes get the reactions from other people, because it could be this really strong yang that's actually running the show. And we eventually start to train ourselves how to come back, be present with ourselves, adjust the alignment, look at the functional side physically as well, and basically just see what's going on in the body story. The body story, when we do the body analysis, we look at the entire body. The whole body's mapped out on the face, and it's also we go through each and every section of the body. So the whole body, every part of it has a meaning. So it's really dissecting the hands, the feet. The hands are an expressor both of the mind in the right and the heart in the left, our thoughts and feelings, but also an expression of the heart. So, that point of balance. So the great balance are in the heart. And with using our mind so much, of course, we can start to get quite hard and stiff and restricted. That's all expressing energy flow in the body. We do map through the chakra system, so having an awareness of the chakras is very beneficial. If you don't know much about it, that's okay. We can send you lots and lots of information in advance when you enroll to update your skills on chakras. So this gives you an idea of what we're looking at when we're looking at the face. So you can all see that okay? Yeah, great. So again, here's the mental zone from the top of the hairline going down to the eyebrows. The eyebrows are the throat. So the brow and the crown are on the forehead. So we can see also if someone's leading with their mind, if in their posture, their head's forward, and they might be blocking a bit around the throat area. And that is often, we're looking, is that also expressed on their face? So if something that we can see is happening in the energy on the face, what's happening in the body. So we're constantly looking at how that correlates, how that is expressed emotionally through the emotional zone of the heart and the solar plexus, and how that's actually coming into the physical zone from the solar plexus down to the base. So there's the feet. All of these, how grounded on the masculine, how grounded on the feminine is the expression of each one of these energy centers. How well earthed somebody is. So your heart connection, the heart chakra is a great balancer. As above, so below, left and right, masculine, feminine, emotional, mental, everything before us and everything that's gone in the past. How much backup we've got. And then the zones when we're looking at the body. So, of course, we can learn these things online to a certain extent. We can quite well cover the face, the hands, the feet online, and an introduction to the body. But then to really, especially if you're a kinesthetic learner, if you really learn by touch, it's so enriching to actually get yourself to something in person. And plus, in the in-person classes, we also have that, you know, that whole collective energy that goes on in a group. And you do get that to a certain extent online, but the people online really need to, you know, stay present. And then there'll always be at least a 6-day component. Sometimes it's 7, depending on which teacher, of doing the face-to-face, because we can shorten down the face-to-face, but we still essentially need it, especially for the emotional release body work. And that can be done in a massage style, and it can also be done in more of an energy work style for people who don't, you know, don't lean towards massaging. And this is our emotional release bodywork chart. So you can see that same mapping system. So basically, when we're looking at that, of course, that gives you a lot of information, but it's really interacting with the flesh and the consciousness. So after we've done the mapping, before we go into the emotional release work, we have a whole 6 days just dedicated to that. Then we start to go into a lot richer subject. I'll just stop the share, which goes into emotional anatomy and learning about how the layers of communication go from the skin right down through the bones, and how different organs and tissue relate to one another within a person's anatomy. So Herman would love to play on words. So he'd say anatomy is an atom in me, looking at an atom in me, and what's going on. So when we have that thought about consciousness from the crown chakra, it's universal knowledge and wisdom, it's accessing all that is. And if we're looking at the elements from the chakras, so the base chakra is earth, sacral is water, solar plexus is fire, heart is air, throat is ether. So we're going into the ether, and then we go into subatomic and atomic. So when we think about atomic, it's about the atoms. So we know that we have all of these elements inside us, but the atomic is part of that story of how our mind is influencing, how our self-talk is influencing the actual anatomy. So how at a cellular level, how that's influencing the cells of our body by the stories we keep telling ourselves. And then if that also goes into the posture, then that's reinforcing and locking the energy or blocking the energy. Because energy is emotions, energy moving in the body. So it creates a lot of chemicals and it creates areas where things accumulate or they get blocked. And so again, in the quantum field, we're nothing but space. So it's getting the spaciousness back into our bodies again. And breath is one of the things that helps us get space back into our bodies and helps us to be able to mentally let go as well as physically let go, because every exhalation we're getting rid of a whole lot of toxins. So breathing is essential. Alignment in the body is essential. Grounding is essential. So looking at the thoughts, the emotions, and the actual actions and habits. So that's part of the underpinning philosophy. And then it's just taking deeper and deeper dives into ourselves and remembering that the consciousness of the subconscious mind runs the body. So there's an incredible intelligence in the body, and its prime directive is to preserve our life. So it's constantly doing what it does just to keep us alive. I mean, really, it's our bodies that love us unconditionally. I mean, they keep showing up no matter how much we speak unkindly to them, no matter how much we neglect them, no matter how much we might abuse them. And I think one of the saddest things I hear is when someone actually comes to me. I've got 40 years of, next year will be 40 years as a body worker, as a remedial massage therapist and postural integration. So I've had a lot of hands-on body work for decades. And when someone comes to me and says, my body's let me down, or especially if they've really smashed it up against a rock, doing rock climbing or something, and it no longer looks as perfect as the other limb because it's, they've spent 6 months in recovery in hospital. But, my heart just wants to burst into tears because they're telling their body that it's let it down. And it's like telling a little child that, you've let me down. How did I let you down? I keep showing up. I do everything you ask me to do it, even if it's beyond my capacity, I still give it a go. So, the body's innocent. It's innocent like a child. It just loves us unconditionally to keep showing up no matter how we speak to it, how we treat it, how we feed it, whether we don't give it enough rest. So, and it's the one thing that we don't get a chance to trade this vehicle in. This is the one we've got. In fact, in the eyes of your soul, you're the most important human being on this planet. So not better or less than any other human being, but in your eyes of your soul, once you cease to exist, your soul has no expression to add consciousness, add light, to evolve further, whatever its higher purpose is on the planet to be here, whatever radiance and gifts, many gifts it has. So I feel that it's such an awareness to have that you are that important, you really are. And the more present, the more conscious, the more we're just being ourselves, our true authentic selves, that we are truly making a difference just by showing up, just being there. After the Emotional Anatomy Day, we do a day of emotional release bodywork. We've brought in a lot of trauma awareness into the training now because we can see that in emotional anatomy, a lot of the strong archetypes that are there are because of trauma. So the inability to process those things and how that has become embodied, how it's, really carved into the body and what changes we can make around that. So some things we can change altogether, some things we have to learn to manage and work with, and they may over time also clear altogether. Or that's what we're doing. We never know what's going to trigger us all the way through to the end, but we can certainly learn to manage and deactivate a lot of those triggers by, regulating our nervous system. After you've done the face-to-face work, you do case studies, and we have 2 groups of mentoring a month that you can join in. You can join into both. They are recorded, so if you can't make them, then you can get that support with the mentoring with your case studies. There's also the association, which we're reactivating to get more podcasts and things that, there's just always that enrichment from the different teaching community available. And we also have a Facebook group and WhatsApp groups and things there too. Yeah. I think once you've had your eyes open with psychosomatic therapy, you really get that curiosity about what's really going on. It really is, going into yourself and asking your body, whatever's coming up, ask our body, because the intelligence there is going to answer us one way or another. We're going to have that answer come to us. So I think that's the exciting part of it all. And it is an exploration. So I know some people who like to have a 1 + 1 = 2 or 2 + 2 = 4, that level of certainty. The body has too many variants. Each person has too many variants for it to be that level of certainty as a one size fits all. Every person is unique. So the more that we start to, encourage ourselves to be strengthening our sense of intuition and that intuitive intelligence as well. So, trusting our connection to the source. Yeah, we look forward to you joining, taking these steps towards the psychosomatic therapy process, the journey. We actually call it the journey. Once you're on board, there is a process that you start, and if we just follow the steps, it gets us right through, because each unit builds towards the next unit, So it is a very enriching process, life-changing, eye-opening. You'll never see anyone, even just doing the face reading, you'll never look at a face the same again.